So I think TikTok's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to social media. I feel like it takes the worst things from all the other social medias and puts it together in one. So let's talk about it. So let's start with something that I hate on YouTube, and I'm gonna relate to how it translates over to TikTok. So one of the reasons why I think prank channels are so problematic is that a lot of people think it's real. So when you see stuff on TV, it still feels like a production, especially when you see the film crew come in. And there's a lot more rules for national TV as well. I think I'm more okay with it on TV because the audience has to sign waiver forms or their faces will be blurred out, right? But when people see things on YouTube, the lines are a lot blurred because the foundation of YouTube is authenticity and this almost amateurism kind of to it. I think that's a great thing because it's led a bunch of creators to create the things they want to create, and you have a connection with the creator. They feel like a real person. And with these prank channels, it's almost hard to discern what's real and what's not. Now anybody can be filmed without their consent, things can be taken out of context, and people can be made to think something is real when it's all a production. Some of these videos that I see on YouTube, it blurs the line really well, and sometimes I'm like, okay, that is totally fake, right? You can't really tell. And the biggest reason why I hate it is because you're making content that's profiting over the expense of other people with the idea in your head that it's a prank. And it's like a cop-out answer. Saying it's a prank doesn't give you the excuse to be a fucking jackass, commit crimes, and just overall be a terrible human being. I hate that this whole entire subsection of prank channels has evolved into this. A lot of those guys believe that stuff because it's very similar to porn almost, right? Porn is like what they think sex is like in their head, and these dating prank videos are what they think dating is like in their head. You're also just selling this false image of how people should act with other people, and in turn I think it's made the US as a society a lot meaner and hateful towards each other. So now imagine that you're a kid, you don't have any friends, your parents don't understand you, you're getting influenced by these videos. On YouTube they're doing a lot better to control the age range of people that view the videos. On TikTok they don't have that yet. I think this is such a big issue because when the audience is young and moldable, seeing things like this give a false impression of what society is really like. So I remember growing up, I felt like my parents never really got me. Piano was a solo activity, so I didn't have other extracurricular things where I could meet people. So because of this, I never really understood the concept of being on a team. So I'm fortunate that these are all things that I learned in my fraternity as an older person when I was in college. I got picked on a lot until they molded me, and it taught me a lot about that camaraderie, being able to hang out in groups of guys, because when I was growing up, a lot of my friends were women. So when I was younger, social media was just starting out and YouTube was just starting to grow. I remember resonating with creators like AJ Raphael, Kev Jumba, Niga Higa, because they felt like regular people just like us. And because of that, I looked up to them and respected them a lot for being able to put themselves out there like that. And the craziest thing is now I know AJ because he's dating one of my good friends from college. So I was able to meet him. Just seeing how chill he is and how normal of a dude he was super exciting. Even now, people that are my age are asking to take a picture with him, which just comes to show how influential this guy was to all of us, you know? For a lot of these reasons, I'm very thankful for them because of how they contributed to my childhood. Now fast forward 10 years to now where TikTok is the main thing. I think this is the worst thing for society because of what TikTok stands for and encourages. It pretty much encapsulates everything negative about social media. Alright, so let's talk about clout chasing. Numbers are like the new measurement of clout, and a lot of people that have talked to me about TikTok always talk about the possibility of going viral. When I have any conversation about TikTok, they say, oh, I knew this guy that got 2 million views. I'm like, okay, but I don't care. When I was in college, I remember how important it was to have a higher follower count than people you were following. Like, people will genuinely follow strangers and unfollow them in a few days just so they can get more followers. Some guy literally sent me this because I unfollowed him on Instagram. I'll give you a second to read it. Like, yeah, I know. I have some cousins or relatives that have like 1,000+ followers and their videos get like 500 likes. I'm like, dude, you're 14. How the fuck do you know 1,000 people? And I think because of the odds of people going viral, that's what people are chasing now. Because of the way that TikTok is designed, anybody can go viral because of the algorithms. Everybody is chasing this high of getting that one post that goes viral. But I personally think that a lot of these views and likes are fake, because when I was on TikTok, I was posting videos. I posted like 4 or 5, I think, and they would get like 500 views, 600 views, and I'm like, how the frick? Nobody's following me. They would get random likes, likes and these random bot comments. So I just thought like, okay, this is saying 600, but I don't think that's real. I think a lot of these are bots. YouTube is a lot more serious with this because they're more developed now, so they have to take these precautions, but TikTok is still starting out. It's almost like this gambling thing, right? Because I feel the same way when I'm posting my stuff on YouTube. It's like, maybe this is the one that will go viral. Maybe this is the one that will go viral. I put a lot of pride into that because I work so hard on all of my videos, thinking that the next one may be the one that pushes me to 100,000 subscribers is really exciting to me, you know? But the thing about TikTok, it doesn't value skill, it values luck. What I'm thinking is that none of this is real because the amount of power it has to be on YouTube and being influencer there versus having all these thousands of followers on TikTok, I don't think it means anything. And I think this gets people trying to catch the next wave or the next trend so they can hop on that bandwagon. I think this stops people from doing things that are actually unique because that's not really what's encouraged. What's more encouraged are these dances or trying to start a new challenge for everybody. But I think it gives you a false sense of accomplishment when you see all these likes and these numbers and these views. That doesn't translate to anything because people don't really know or care about who you are. And let's be real, I mean, I think there are good ones there that kind of remind me of Vine. There are a lot of really funny ones out there, but every time I open up TikTok, the things that are promoted are not that. It's a lot of underage girls doing these sexy dances, which I'm gonna talk about, and that makes me feel gross. And just seeing the numbers that they do, it's really disgusting to me because what I've noticed is that TikTok favors appearance. There's a less focus on skill and talent and a more focus on attractiveness. Seeing the interviews some of these people do, their personality is equivalent to bread, bro. They are not charming, they are not funny, they are not cool whatsoever. They're so boring. And I think this makes people feel really shitty because if you see this, especially if you're a young person like a teenager or in junior high, and you see these people getting all this praise and accomplishment just for being attractive, what is that gonna do to your self-esteem? This sucks because you equate looks and looking perfect to self-validation, which is the exact route to depression. Jonathan Haidt talks about this in his book, The Coddling of the American Mind. Now, I haven't read it, but I heard him speak on a Joe Rogan podcast, and he talked about how in the last few years with the rise of social media, depression in young women, I think in the age 14 or 15, depression has doubled within these last few years, and it could all be attributed to social media.
Gen Z begins arriving, and so by 2016, colleges are almost all Gen Z, and the rates shoot up, way up, right? It goes from less than 6% to almost 15% in the space of 4 years. So what this graph shows is the number of boys who are admitted to a hospital every year because they deliberately harmed themselves to the point where they had to be hospitalized. There's no change over time. Next graph, bang. The situation for girls is really, really different. If we look at self-harm, what you see here is that the rates were fairly stable up until 2009. And then, bang, just as in the last same thing.
I remember this girl in junior high. Her name was Sunny Ho. And she was a very sweet girl, very nice. She was pretty. There was nothing really bad about her that I could say. But I remember that she was heavily bullied. And I don't know what happened, but some girl made a I Hate Sunny Ho page. It went around our school. A lot of people joined it. And I could only imagine how shitty she felt going through that. When I receive hate now, it bugs me, and they're coming from strangers on the internet. But imagine going to a middle school where 75 people are in this club that hates you, and how that must feel, especially when you're only 14 years old. Now I see TikTok is like that times 100. If you're attractive at that age and you're successful on these platforms, you're gonna think that good looks and doing stupid shit is what equates to success, and they're gonna peak early because of that. But if you're unattractive at that age, which is like 95% of the population, how bad is that gonna make you feel? Because I remember when I was growing up and I saw these people that were more attractive to me, you know, I was short for most of high school and girls didn't really pay attention to me much. Seeing all these attractive people that have done nothing special, they're just really good looking, and that translates into popularity and success in high school. And when you're at that age, that's all you think about. I felt so shitty about my self-image. Like I wanted to be taller, I wanted to be more handsome. A part of me didn't want to be Asian. I low-key kind of wanted to be Latino. You're not attractive at that age and you see all these people making it and being successful. I feel like it's so damaging to your self-image, you know? I know it was for me when I was that young. And it leads me to these couple TikToks that I think are so cringy as fuck. I feel like a lot of people, especially when I was in LA, they do all these relationship things for other people to think that they have a nice relationship. These couple goal things are so fucking dumb because that's not real. It's like what we're being fed through all these Hollywood movies. And it pushes this narrative of like a perfect relationship in 15 seconds. Once again, the appearance of the actual relationship is important rather than what it actually takes to be in a healthy relationship. I think the US has has done a really good job of selling us this love fantasy. The wedding industry and how much that's pushed, I think that attributes to a unhealthy viewpoint and perspective on love. Coming from an Asian family, we were taught that marriages are almost like a business arrangement. Like sex wasn't even important. What was important was finances, how well they came off to your grandparents or your parents, career, social standing. These things were all what I was taught to be important. This idea of like a perfect relationship does not exist, you know? You see this a lot on TikTok with all these relationship goals. For me, they just seem so fake and wrong, but a lot of people, because they get a lot of likes, people are chasing this. And I've seen like behind the scenes people yelling at each other trying to get the perfect video or get the perfect picture, and to me that's so stupid because that's not what love is. For me, I don't really want a big wedding because I kind of see weddings as like you're paying for other people to enjoy this wedding. For me, I'd rather just save that money and travel the world with my wife. That seems like the most amazing experience. If I marry someone, they're gonna be my most favorite person in the world, so why would I want to spend that money on other people when 80% of those people I don't even care about, when I could just spend it with the one person that I do care about? I really want a relationship, if you can't tell. Anyways, I think TikTok promotes this culture of being famous and successful without actually done anything novel. And this gives people this sense of entitlement because people who have been successful and have worked their butt off to get there, they realize how humbling the journey is, you know? I also think it gives people, especially women, a inflated sense of self-esteem that they can treat people poorly or act a certain way just because of how they look. You can see that here in Colombia, you can see that anywhere, and I saw that a lot in LA. This was really prevalent on Instagram because girls have literally made their whole entire careers through just showing their tits and their ass on Instagram. I don't know what these guys do. I don't know what their life story is, but I know that I've seen 20 pictures of them with their butt in different places. Now, if you're an adult and you're 18 plus, okay, whatever, do your hustle. But these underage girls that are gaining a following by doing sexual dances, how can anybody fuck with that? Like, somebody's got to call this out. It is so gross. I want to say the biggest reason why I don't like TikTok is because it's promoting a lot of these underage kids to do these sexy dances. When I'm swiping through TikTok, these things are on my explore page. It's almost like TikTok is encouraging it. And for me, I just feel so gross because I see this girl and I'm like, why is she wearing like almost nothing? Why is she showing her cleavage? And then she looks like she's 13 years old. What the fuck? I don't know, man. That was the biggest turnoff for me. And when I see that, it just makes me feel so gross. How is it going to affect them once they become adults and they realize that good looks are not really going to get you far? You know, if you're a woman, some guys might treat you well, but you're going to be attracting the wrong kind of people. So the biggest issue that I feel like exists in American culture is how much comparison we do to other people. Because America is so materialistic and me-centered, it pushes this keeping up with the Jones mentality. A lot of it is less about how much you want something, but more of the fact that somebody else has it. Especially growing up in LA, I saw this all the time and I never understood it. A lot of things are done to give the illusion of who you are, right? These fancy cars, all these hot women, the amount of parties that you go to. I mean, just look at how many videos there are out there of people flexing their car money, making videos about this stuff. There's like 12-year-old white boys that are making these gangster rap music videos flaunting off their wealth, their trust fund stuff. It's so, what? Like, being here in Colombia, it's made me really be able to take an outside look of what social media has done to us. And the funny thing is that now that I'm not constantly surrounded by the news and a lot of people that think that LA mentality, I've come to realize how dumb a lot of the things we care about are, when what's really important is like your community, your family, feeling like you belong and living up to your own personal truth. I felt like I couldn't do that in LA. But now being here in Colombia, it's been so amazing for me, so I'm so thankful. It's brought me a lot of new perspectives on how to live my life. It's just crazy when you see people on the street licking wrappers just to eat something. It makes you really appreciate what's important in life. Anyways, those are most of my thoughts on the topic. I'm sorry this video is so long. People seem to be liking these longer form videos, so I'm just gonna kind of keep going. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy my new camera. Peace.